This is Radio Taiwan International.
Welcome to the news on Radio Taiwan International. I'm Tristan Hildebrand, coming to you from Taipei, Taiwan. We begin with a look at today's top stories for Monday, August 25th. A referendum on reopening a Taiwanese power plant falls short of the threshold. U.S. tariff talks continue with nuclear energy weighing in. The South African government is forcing Taiwan's representative office out of its administrative capital. And Taiwan defeats a U.S. baseball team 7-0, winning a Little League World Series title. But first, today's top story. The Taiwan People's Party referendum on whether to consider reopening the third nuclear power plant received over 4,300,000 votes in favor and over 1,500,000 votes against on Saturday. The ballot asked voters if they agree that the third nuclear power plant should continue operating once the competent authority has confirmed that there are no safety concerns. A majority of voters backed the proposal, with the number of agree votes leading by a wide margin. Under the Referendum Act, a proposal passes only if two conditions are met. The number of votes in favor must exceed the number of votes against, and the total number of agree votes must reach at least 1/4 of all eligible voters. With over 20 million people eligible to vote in Taiwan, the threshold stands at over 5 million votes in favor. If these conditions are met, the president or the competent authority is required to take the necessary steps to implement the outcome of the referendum. President Lai Ching-te said in the evening that although the referendum did not meet the required threshold, he respects public opinion. He added that he will instruct Taipower to begin safety inspections of the old nuclear power units once the relevant regulations are announced, to provide regular public updates on risks and progress, and, if the standards are met, to submit the results to the Nuclear Safety Commission for review. In response to the results of the referendum, anti-nuclear power NGOs said that this was the referendum with the lowest voter turnout, and therefore the outcome is not representative. The group stressed that Taiwan's energy and carbon reduction policies should not become a battleground for political infighting. They called on all political parties to set aside self-interest, confront issues of nuclear safety and nuclear waste management seriously, and refrain from manipulating the nuclear power debate or repeatedly avoiding key questions. Premier Zhuo Rongtai said Taiwan's tariff negotiations with the United States are ongoing, with 3 major objectives still to be pursued. He stressed that the government will continue to assess and review the impact on different industries. He noted that Washington's reciprocal tariff on Taiwan took effect on August 7th, stacking a temporary 20% duty on top of existing rates. Negotiations remain underway with 3 key goals. First, to secure a more reasonable and favorable rate for Taiwan. Second, to ensure a fair consultation process and outcome regarding Section 232 tariffs. And third, to prevent tariff stacking in the final agreement. Zhuo said the U.S. is pushing reciprocal tariffs to reduce its trade deficit and reindustrialize. Taiwan's team, he added, is guided by national and industrial interests as well as public health and food security. The two sides have so far held 4 in-person meetings and multiple virtual talks. Discussions on technical issues such as non-tariff barriers, trade facilitation, supply chain resilience, and economic security have largely concluded.
Taiwan and the United States are close partners in supply chains, so both sides continue to strengthen cooperation on economic security. There is a high level of consensus, especially on transshipment violations. We share the same commitment to crack down on origin laundering.
During questioning, KMT Legislative Caucus Whip Fu Kunqi highlighted Taiwan's high electricity costs and the August 23rd nuclear power referendum. Despite failing to secure the 5 million agree votes needed to reopen the nuclear plant, support votes outnumbered opposition by threefold. Fu urged the government to include small-scale advanced nuclear energy in the negotiations. Cho replied that the government is open to discussion but stressed that safety and nuclear waste issues must first be addressed. President Lai Ching-te said the government has launched an 18 billion NT dollar or $590 million support package for Taiwan's agriculture and fisheries sectors to mitigate the impact of new U.S. tariff policies. Lai acknowledged that Taiwan's agriculture faces mounting challenges, from extreme weather and global trade realignment to labor shortages caused by an aging farming population. He said these obstacles require cooperation between the government and industry to overcome. To counter the effects of U.S. tariffs, Lai said that 18 billion NT dollar package focuses on 3 main areas and 6 initiatives.
We will provide assistance across different levels, from production to export. We aim not only to help agricultural and fisheries operators stabilize short-term financing, but also to focus on long-term development trends by actively advancing smart agriculture, fundamentally strengthening Taiwan's agricultural foundation and resilience, making farmers happier, consumers more reassured, and ensuring more sustainable development for Taiwan's agriculture.
Lai emphasized that his administration will stand with farmers, ensuring that Taiwan's agricultural products not only thrive locally, but also secure a stronger presence in global markets. The South African government is forcing Taiwan's representative office out of the administrative capital of Pretoria, in what scholars say is a symbolic concession to Beijing and a sacrifice of its long-standing, stable economic and trade relations with Taiwan. Since October last year, the South African government has sent 2 letters demanding that the representative office leave Pretoria and change its name. In March, it unilaterally changed the name of the office from the Taipei Liaison Office to the Taipei Commercial Office. The government is seeking to downgrade it from a representative office to a trade office, according to Taiwan's foreign ministry. While negotiations were ongoing, South Africa's Department of International Relations and Cooperation, DIRCO, changed the office name on their website, recategorized it under international organizations, and updated the address. In July, DIRCO issued a notice in the Government Gazette announcing its changes. The Brent Hearst Foundation's former director Greg Mills and research director Ray Hartley criticized DIRCO for the move, saying it is tantamount to handing sovereignty and responsibility over to Beijing. The two argue that it does not serve South Africa's interests, and instead just serves Beijing's will. South Africa's policy towards Taiwan has lapsed into a cocktail of diplomatic recklessness and economic nihilism, according to Mills and Hartley. The pair of foundation representatives emphasized Taiwan and South Africa's annual $2 billion trade volume, with South Africa enjoying a trade surplus. They underlined the roughly 450 Taiwanese factories located in the country, employing around 40,000 people and contributing to the local economy. Mills and Hartley acknowledged that China is still South Africa's largest trading partner, but pointed out that South Africa has leverage as China relies on its raw materials, spelling major losses should it impose economic sanctions. Mills and Hartley say that Taiwan's democratic, open, and innovative society drives its growth. South Africa also stands for values including the rule of law, press freedom, and constitutionalism, which they argue Beijing has condemned. Mills and Hartley say that the South African government's decision to align with Beijing means it no longer serves as a symbol of those values. Taiwan defeated the United States 7-0 at the Little League World Series in the United States on Sunday, local time, securing the championship title for the first time in 29 years. The Taipei Dongyuan Elementary School Little League team, representing the Asia-Pacific region, beat Mexico, Aruba, Venezuela, and then Aruba again to win the international division with a perfect 5-match winning streak over the 12-day tournament. They then defeated the Summerlin South team of Las Vegas, Nevada, representing the U.S., in a near-perfect game to win the championship. Taiwan has won the Williamsport Little League World Series 17 times previously, the most of any country besides the U.S., including 5 consecutive titles from 1977 to 1981. President Lai Ching-te and Vice President Xiaobi Kim both sent messages congratulating the young players for bringing glory to Taiwan. Taipei Economic and Cultural Office and New York Director Tom Zichang Lee presented their sentiments at the tournament closing ceremonies. Thank you for joining me for the news. I'm Tristan Hildebrand. Stay tuned for another 50 minutes of English language features brought to you by Radio Taiwan International.